All right. We had little technical issues. Thanks for your patience, everyone. Live, live from New York, it's your host, Dr. Shiri Mamjara Taal on the Vitalize Africa channel. And with me today, joining us from the Gambia, West Africa, is our special guest, Charles de Gaulle Gomez from the Bethgold Foundation, which is a nonprofit organization that has a powerful mission. And Charles, I'd like to thank you for joining us today. But before we begin, let me share a little bit about your background with our audience, okay?
All right, okay.
Okay, so you are a certified social entrepreneur, a peace and conflict trainer, a motivational speaker, and a disability rights and inclusion activist.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yes, yes.
Well, sounds like we have a lot to talk about. So please go ahead and welcome Mr. Charles de Gaulle Gomez to our podcast today, viewers. And please tell us a little bit more about yourself and about your organization.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Tab, for having me on this platform today. I am really inspired and really happy to be part of the great work that you're doing across the world. And I am Charles de Gaulle Gomez. Like you said, I am a disability rights activist, a social entrepreneur, a motivational speaker, and a peace and conflict trainer. Mm-hmm. I am the founder of Bethgold Foundation, an organization that promotes social inclusions, that promotes the opportunity, the inclusions of children with disabilities into quality, inclusive educations. I've been to advocacy for a while now, and I started advocating for youth activism before I ventured into disability rights advocacy.
Oh, okay. So right now you are based in the Gambia, West Africa, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And what are some of the challenges that you've experienced there?
Well, actually, growing up with visually impairment, I was taught to see life as a challenge, and that is to face it and fight for what really meant so much for me, and that is equality and non-discrimination. I wasn't born as a visually impaired. It happens when I was growing up. My parents did not even know what it was. For them, it was just a mere eye problem or eye issues that we call Apollo here in Gambia. It's a seasonal thing that happens. So, but eventually the thing started going, and then up to a certain age that, even the doctor cannot even tell in the Gambia here. It was later that I realized that it was something that they diagnosed as VKC in India. So my challenges that I've encountered as a boy going to school was I was called, I was labeled, and I was stigmatized. I was being called different names because as a child with visual impairment, seeing the board, the African way of learning here, where teachers will be writing on the board, and then you have to look and copy. So the distance, I could not even read the board, the writings on the board. So what I will normally do is I will walk towards the blackboard and then look at what is written there and then come back to my seat. Right. So with that, my colleagues will use abusive words like gumbo, which in my local language means a blind person. Hey, you blind person, get off and then stop blocking our views. Right. So it really challenged my self-esteem to the point that my performance in class begins to drop. I used to be an outspoken and vocal, confident child when I was growing up, but that has already, it has also really bring my performance down, and then my self-esteem begins to drop down to the point that I have to, my performance in school was not even really effective as it used to be. So those are some of the challenges. And then also from the background, my parents are not educated, both my mom and my dad. They could not even they could not even know what to do. They did not even know what to do. So all they were trying to do was to seek these traditional ways of how they could get this condition, out of it. So we have to be traveling from one country or another, one place to another, to make sure that we'll be using these traditional herbs, and it has really affected my educations. I've gone through a lot of marginalizations as a child, because persons with disabilities in the Gambia here are looked down upon, and they are not very valued as compared to other countries.
Yeah, well, thank you for bringing awareness to this issue. And now that, we are sharing your story and, more stories of people who are affected by certain disabilities in the Gambia. Yeah, we're going to, hopefully, that's our goal, to, impact change. So as of today, everyone, our podcast will now become Empowering Change, okay? And we have here with us Mr. Charles Bethgold Gomez, who is helping us to begin the journey to, impact social change. So the Bethgold Foundation is doing incredible things in the Gambia right now. And how are you transforming mindsets and confronting society's prejudices and stigmas associated with disability?
Thank you so much for that question. It is really, really important for me and for people to know what Bethgold is all about. My personal life story is something that is so attached to the work that I do, because having been empowered as a visually impaired person, and then it is very important to use my story in transforming the mindset of the society from where I came from to where I am and where I am going today. So it is one of the things that I always share with people when I am invited in a platform to talk about persons, the inclusions of persons with disabilities. Because I was there, I know how it feels to be discriminated. I have confronted myself, also challenged myself, and empowered myself to make sure that I confront the status quo of the society towards their prejudice. So one thing that I always use is my personal life story of how I was able to overcome obstacles and challenges. The second thing that Bethgold also is using to transform the mindset of the society is our radio programs advocacy. We are holding a radio program every Saturday in one of the radio stations in the Gambia here, where we invite people to talk about the inclusions of persons with disabilities and ways of how we are going to mitigate all these challenges. We invite different people to come and talk about it, National Assembly members. We invite those that are faced with challenges, the visually impaired, the hard of hearing, the people that are working with persons with disabilities, and even like the public servants who are not even having disabilities, for them to know and understand what it means to be living with disabilities and how to include with them. The other thing also that we also do is to empower our fellow visually impaired, because I believe we cannot be their voices. One thing that I've always learned and believe is that I cannot be the voice of the people. For instance, if I am not here today, who will stand for them? So the most important thing that I always tell them is to empower yourselves. And I help them to empower them by coaching them and mentoring them through the journey that I came through. So this and also like conducting training for service providers, workshop training for service providers on inclusions and all other topics related to disability. Also, the first thing that I in most of the programs that I do, I try to make them understand disability as the concept. The understanding disabilities is the most important thing and the first point of contact when you want to change and the narratives or transform the minds of the society. So these and other programs is what Bethgold is doing to make sure that society is transformed into accepting and embracing disability.
Wow, you sound like a true warrior. My goodness. I am so proud of you.
Thank you.
Wow, you are amazing.
Thank you.
So you've achieved some remarkable milestones, including your involvement in the Unleash Global Sustainable Initiative, and
Okay.
are also a Mandela Washington Fellowship alumni. Could you share with our viewers some of the impactful work that you've been doing and that you're a part of right now, or maybe still a part of?
All right, thank you so much. These two programs that you've mentioned was as a result of the work that I'm doing in the Gambia, in the communities that is why I am selected for these two programs, which are very competitive. The Mandela Washington was for young African leaders that are doing inspiring and great work in their countries. Though it is very competitive, and a few of Africans are selected to go to the United States for both academic and professional, and also to network with their fellow Africans. The journey started when I realized that I was visually impaired, and also when I was empowered from India and came back fired up, to change mindset. So I started by doing programs like empowerment programs for persons with disabilities, okay. and through the great work that I was doing, and this was why I was selected to be part of the Mandela Washington program. So when I came back, I joined hands with my fellow alumni to make sure that we speak about the importance of this program and the involvement of community work and the change that we want to see in the society. And I was even, and I'm still part of the executive board of the U.S. Exchange Program Alumni Association in the Gambia as the program manager. And we are doing a lot of sensitization programs. Recently, we just, we did a project sponsored by the U.S. government before the local government elections, that is to combat hate speech in the Gambia here, to make sure that we have a successful campaign, we have a successful elections. And it really worked, because we went around in communities talking to them about the impact of hate speech in politics, and how it can divide our community, how it can even destabilize family members. So with this project that I am involved in, and also in China, when I was there, we worked on a project for under the Sustainable Development Goal, that is SDG 4, to make sure that we come up with a solution for inclusions of persons with disabilities, where we come up with an innovative idea, and this has resulted to us awarded as a silver award for the pitching, during the pitching competitions in China. So with this, I am challenged to still continue the passion that I have towards advocating for the rights of persons with disabilities, because I am empowered, but my fellow visually impaired are not empowered yet. A lot needs to be done, especially tackling it on the grassroots level. Okay. So with Bethgold, we are doing it in a different way. We want to tackle it in a grassroots level, and that is by looking out for these children with disabilities who are not in school, who are out of school because society thinks that they cannot, they're incompetent, they're unproductive by the society. And then the foundation will be supporting them to go to school. We identify some schools, and then we'll be paying for their tuition fees from nursery to university level, to make sure that they are empowered and to tackle discriminations at a younger age. Because we believe that once you leave them up to an older age and then start empowering them, it takes time, because if you empower them at a younger age and make sure that you include them with those that are not disabled, they learn the culture of inclusions at an early age.
Okay.
The inclusions will be like, the problem will be a bit solved.
Mhm.
So this, I believe, is the reason why Bethgold is targeting children with disabilities in our communities, to make sure that they're educated and to remedy these situations of exclusions in the society.
Do you have any data as far as how many disabled individuals live in the Gambia?
Well, statistically, we don't have an actual accurate data of persons with disability, but I understand, I know from the last census, the UN report, or the last census that was conducted, over 400,000 people are disabled. But up to now, I know that it has increased, but we don't have an actual data or accurate data that covers the statistics.
Okay. So what is the Gambian government doing as far as helping with making sure that, you know, they have access to employment and job opportunities?
For me, you will start to support or do something when you know or understand the situation at hand. Most of the Gambian government or the Gambian officials don't understand disability to their fingertip. They don't understand how to support or how to help persons with disabilities. Right. And some of the excuses that they will use is that the technical aids or the accessories that are tied to persons with disabilities to conduct their life, to live independently, is very expensive. If these things are coming from government officials, then that means they really don't understand what disability is all about. And then don't know that it could happen to anybody else. So for them, they believe in the paperwork, that is the written documents of implementing written documents, like coming up with policies. This is what we need to do. This is what we need to do. But implementation wise, right, is really lacking. And that is why we decided that we are not waiting for it to be written. We are trying to make it pragmatic, like action advocacy, to make sure that we go to their doorsteps and give them life experience, share stories, personal stories of what happens. But if we are to rely on the government, it is going to be something that will never be achieved. So the government is not really doing much. Okay. From my own perspective, they are not really doing much. We have an inline ministry that is attached to the disability fraternity, that is the gender ministry, the social welfare. It used to be the social welfare, now the gender and women's ministry. But they are not really doing much when it comes to helping disability communities in the Gambia. There is only a few of us and a few of people that are persons with disabilities that are empowered, that are really talking about the issues and making them understand that this is what needs to be done.
Right. So it sounds like, and you know, I would suggest creating an agency that could assist with employment, because in America, where I'm at right now, they what they do is to give, I guess, a tax break to businesses that employ people with disabilities. So, you know, you see more and more people with disabilities working at big, you know, big organizations. So if there's some sort of plan to maybe, because in Germany, you know, my husband was telling me that people are, you know, asked to work by different employers, but they have to do like 3 or 4 days free. They don't get paid, just to show what they can do. So, there's like different angles, maybe, since you're saying this is a grassroots effort and it should be organic, where, you can reach out to businesses and get them involved as far as, okay, let this person work for 3 days and see how they do, and then have a contract with them, maybe a temporary agency, some sort of, so people are, have awareness, they're educated, they're face to face, okay, with the potential of individuals that might happen to have a disability, but they're good workers. Because, I met a family there when I was in the Gambia, and the mom, I think she had like 3 children who had hearing impairments and 3 that were, that did not. And one of the daughters, the father educated all of them, all 6, I think 6 or 7 children that he has. And there's like no limits to what they can do. So one of the daughters signed up for one of the beauty pageants, and they were supposed to go to another country, and they asked the government there for help, and she wasn't able to go. So her story alone just like affected me even to this day. And my goal right now is to, one way or another, somehow, some way, the next beauty pageant, because she's a great hairdresser, a hairstylist, and she's cute and has that Gambian beauty, the Gambian beauty the women have over there. So it's like, yes, she needs to be a part of something, that she wants to be a part of, and something big. Why not? And if it's the last thing I do, I'm going to help her get to that next pageant. I'm going to help her get to that next level. So not just her. So now we're connecting, and there's more, work to be done, and more things that we can work on.
Okay. This is one of the things that I always talked about, and I've talked to some couple of people with regards to having a disability units in all public and private companies to help people that are disabled to get to understand, like, trying to make them inclusive in whatsoever they are, and also giving them the disability laws, or guiding them the disability policies, and guiding them how to create an inclusive workspace for everybody. But this is something that has not been even been looked into. I talked to several people about it. The other thing also that you mentioned here is something that is really happening. I think some couple of months back, the head of hearing Gambian team, football team, had an opportunity to compete in one international organizations.
Wow.
And I was like, I saw it, and then they went to the government for support, and they were turned down because they said there were no funds for it. Not only that, also the amputees, the Gambia Amputees Football Association, also they've competed internationally, and of recent they should be competing outside also. They've conducted their league, which just concluded some couple of months back, but you hardly see the government supporting them. I hosted them in my radio programs. We've talked about it. We looked for funds, but there's nothing that was done. And these are things that, we keep talking about in my radio program. And of recent, just last Saturday, I had the deaf arts association, I think something pageant. They will be organizing a beauty pageant as well. I had them in my radio program 2 times. Last week, I had them also. They're seeking funds that they are organizing a beauty pageant for the first time in the Gambia here. And they have an international competition that they're going to Tanzania, I think in November. And their program is 22nd of this month in the Gambia here. They're calling out all philanthropists and people to come and support, but they hardly see people coming to support them. So these are issues that we always talk about in our radio stations, and we talk about with individuals and people to support. Really, definitely, to be honest with you, persons with disabilities, they're lacking real support. They're really, really lacking support. And this is why Bethgold has come to say, okay, you know what? We cannot support everything, but we will make sure that the children that are feeling discriminations, the children that are being discriminated like today, the adults that are discriminated today, let there be a stop to it by educating the young generations, the ones that are young, taking them to school, empowering them to be self-independent so that when they grow up, they will not face what we had faced and what others are facing today. I think this is the more reason why we said, okay, we are going to come up with these foundations. We are going to do, there's no money for now, but I believe I've been into the advocacy for quite a decade now. I believe with my network and also opportunities and connections, we will raise funds to make sure that we support them, to make sure that we do away with these discriminations and marginalization for persons with disability in the Gambia. This is getting too much now. It's getting too much.
And you heard Bob Marley, what he say, right? Every day is war. Okay, we're gonna fight all the way. Fight all for everything we need. We're gonna fight for it. So
we're gonna fight for it. Yes, that is definitely we're gonna fight for it.
So for our listeners who are inspired by your work and what you're doing at Bethgold Foundation, and maybe they would like to support the Bethgold Foundation, what are some ways that they can get involved or contribute to your mission?
Thank you. This is a call out to everybody there. That is, if you cannot volunteer, we need volunteers to come on board to make sure that we reach out to the whole country, and we need also funds to support our activities. We need connections as well, people that can connect us with philanthropists, and even people that can outsource funds like crowdfunding for us, for the foundations. Most importantly, funds is more important, but also we need volunteers to come and then also be part of what we are doing in the Gambia here. Also to link us to opportunities outside there where we can be invited to talk about our visions, to talk about our goals, to talk about the plans that we have for Bethgold. Because the idea here is not only limiting it to the Gambia. The bigger picture is we want to take Bethgold to the sub-Saharan African countries to help us, children with disabilities across the sub-Saharan African countries. And also we have a bigger picture for having it registered also in the US, whereas a non-profit business making, whereas we'll be outsourcing funds to support the sister countries across Africa. Bethgold is not only limiting it to the Gambia. We have a bigger picture. So we are calling everybody to come and be part of this program, either volunteering or supporting us through donation funds, or connecting us through networking events, and also inviting us into conferences, symposiums, seminars to come and talk about our programs in the Gambia here and across the globe.
So tell us where we can reach you. What is your website?
We are currently building a website. We are working with partners to make sure that we build a website and a social media handle, because it is a newly registered organization, and we have not yet gotten a website, but we are working on with a partner who is really helping us to build a website for now, where we can be reached. But we have an email address as well, Bethgold141. Bethgold Foundation 141@gmail.com, that you can reach us with. We also have contact numbers that you can reach us if you want to support. The country code is +220 7825 826 7825 826, and also +220 3858 246 3858 246.
Okay. Wonderful. Okay, viewers, and I'll leave that contact information in the description box as well for you. And so we have a little bit more to go, some more questions to go. But thank you for sharing all that you have about your inspiring journey and the incredible work that you're doing at Bethgold Foundation. Yeah, so where do we begin now? Where are you at right now as far as the activities for the foundation?
Yes, currently we are working on some few activities. One is a strategic framework that we will be having next week with my team to come up with a strategic framework of the coming years. And the other thing also that we are planning to do a survey, an outreach survey where we are going to the regions of countries, like the 7 regions of the Gambia, to identify the children that are out of school, so that we get them to register and admit them into schools. Also, we have a plan of going to talk to the schools to make sure that they're prepared, and also to have an MOU, a memorandum of understanding with them, that they should not reject the children that we will be bringing, and also like going to schools as well, training administrators and teachers on understanding disabilities, because we believe that once we enrolled our students or our beneficiaries into these schools, we want the teachers and the administrators to be empowered, to be trained on understanding on how to handle these kids. So these are all activities on the pipeline. And also we are going to be working with parents. We're not just going to leave the parents as well. We will also train them on how to handle their kids, and also empower them with some tools of how to cooperate and work with the kids with disabilities, because it starts from the home. So all these activities are on the pipeline, which we are working on. We have a limited number of people in the team, and that is why the activities are not like fast tracking, because we are just few, and we are trying to make sure that we kickstart as soon as possible. But next week we are having an in-house like workshops where we develop a framework. From there, we are going up countries to identify these children and get them enrolled in schools.
Okay, that is, wow, a big step for Bethgold Foundation. That's, and a very needed
Yeah.
And I was gonna, there's a couple more questions I want to ask you, but before I continue, what you just told me during the podcast is kind of shocking, because when I was in the Gambia, the brotherhood, the Muslim brotherhood there, they're so charitable. So how does the government not get this? How more people are not aware and supporting your foundation, and the people there that needs so
like I said, it is just newly registered, and it is not all there in the limelight, because we have not yet brought it there. But we are always putting up our radio program activities up there, and then also the team has written some letters to some few individuals for support, which we are yet to receive. But the advertisement and the publicity of Bethgold Foundation has not yet gone viral like that. We are still working on under the curtain to make sure that before we come out there, we make sure that everything is cooked and ready for activities.
Okay, I see.
So advertisement is not that yet there in the outside.
So, in America, we have where public service announcements are, there's no charge. Is there something like that in, for certain organizations? Is there something like that in the Gambia where the radio stations,
Sorry, come again.
the
Come
radio
again.
stations, the television stations, and the radio stations, the magazines, would they put free ads there for, a group like yours that's serving a specific population like your organization's doing?
Well, it depends on the way you sell the idea to the TV or the radios. But currently, where we are holding our radio programs, they've given us a free slot. Because I went and talked with the management, and then they've given us a free slot for 1 hour every Saturday. But for the TV, we have not yet approached them. But I believe that once you want to have a program, an advert, there's always charges for it. I have not yet tried. Maybe the way it is a charitable thing, some might even offer free or a discount. But in the private sector, social medias, they always charge, like for funding. They always charge some amount of money to advertise.
They really shouldn't. So we're gonna have to, don't plan to do that either. So we're gonna have to, yeah. Like you said, it's who, yeah. Well, in America, it's who you know. So there's a way around this, and there's a lot of work to be done. So
Definitely.
yeah. All right, Charles Bethgold, Gomez, it's been a privilege to have you here as our guest on our Empowering Change podcast. And to our viewers, we ask that you join us again next Sunday to meet more individuals like Mr. Gomez who are making a positive impact in the world. And I want everyone to remember it is possible to bring change, and together we can make a difference. And before we go, could you give our viewers your final words for today for our podcast, Mr. Gomez?
The journey set before us is challenging, and in anywhere that I go, I always say that I cannot do it alone. Because no man is an island. I am the initiator, the founder, but I need a team of people that can come to make this vision a reality, because I am not doing it for myself. I am doing it for humanity, human race. And nobody knows who could be the next victim. We should not sit there and say that it has not happened to me, it has not happened to my child. We need to be part of this journey, because we are all temporarily abled. We are not permanently able, because nobody knows what tomorrow might be. So I'm calling out everybody to come and support. Stretch your hands to be part of this noble cause program to help our younger generations, our children who are left behind, who are looked down upon, who are marginalized, who are seen as incompetent, unproductive by the society, and making sure that we give them a good dream, we give them a good life, an independent, comfortable life. So it's a call for everybody to be part of it. So I am really calling for everybody to be part of these programs, and then we make this world a better place for everybody.
Yes, I agree. And I'm
Yeah.
on. Yes. Thanks for joining us again today. And viewers, please follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. And if you've enjoyed this episode, this Empowering Change podcast, please like, share, and subscribe, and comment below. Until next time, take care, and let's all continue to make a difference. Stay happy.